The evacuation ships had long disappeared into the void, carrying the last remnants of humanity to distant stars beyond the reach of the hegemony's war machine. Earth lay broken, its cities reduced to glass craters, its oceans boiling under the relentless bombardment of 1,000 alien fleets. The coalition of 12 species had finally achieved what they deemed necessary, the complete sterilization of the human homeworld. Or so they thought. Commander Marcus Chen stood alone in the ruins of Geneva, his power armor's systems flickering as radiation storms swept across the wasteland. He had volunteered to stay behind, to buy precious time for the evacuation fleets. What the aliens didn't know was that one human, armed with nothing but his wits and humanity's most dangerous weapon, unpredictability, could reshape the balance of an entire galactic war. The first hegemony landing parties found Earth eerily quiet. Zilithian. Scouts reported no life signs, no resistance, nothing but the cooling corpse of a world. They had underestimated humanity once before, during the initial invasion, when human ships had kamikazed into their dreadnoughts without hesitation. They wouldn't make that mistake again. But Marcus Chen wasn't interested in dying gloriously. He was interested in teaching the galaxy a lesson about what happened when you cornered humanity's last guardian. The attacks began 3 days after the occupation started. Zilithian patrols would simply vanish, their equipment found arranged, in precise geometric patterns that made no tactical sense. Cracks and heavy walkers would be discovered days later, their crews gone, their weapons turned inside out in ways that defied physics. The aliens began to whisper about ghosts, about the angry spirits of the dead world. Chen smiled grimly as he watched another patrol from his hidden bunker deep beneath the Swiss Alps. He had spent years preparing for this moment, studying every species in the hegemony, learning their fears, their weaknesses, their cultural taboos. The Zilithians were a prey species that had evolved into predators. They feared being hunted. The Kraxons were hive-minded insects who panicked when isolated. The Viridian energy beings could be driven mad by specific electromagnetic frequencies. He wasn't just fighting them, he was haunting them. Month by month, the hegemony's occupation force dwindled. Not from massive battles or glorious last stands, but from something far more insidious. Terror. Chen had turned Earth into a psychological weapon, using the planet's broken landscape to his advantage. He had rigged the ruins with traps that defied alien understanding, created illusions that exploited their evolutionary fears, and struck with a precision that made him seem omnipresent. The breakthrough came when he captured a hegemony communications array. Using human ingenuity and their own technology against them, Chen began broadcasting across their networks. Not threats or demands, but something far more effective: uncertainty. He would hijack their communications just long enough to whisper a single word in their native languages. Found. The psychological warfare escalated. Chen learned to mimic their voices, their protocols, their security codes. He turned their own forces against each other, creating phantom orders that sent fleets chasing ghosts across empty systems. He leaked false intelligence about human survivor colonies, forcing the hegemony to waste resources on wild goose chases, while the real evacuation fleets established themselves in distant sectors. Within a year, the galaxy's most powerful military alliance was afraid of a dead world and the ghost that haunted it. The legend grew with each passing month. Hegemony species began calling him the Last Walker, the Death Echo, the human who remained. Their military commanders, once confident in their overwhelming superiority, now demanded excessive security details for any mission near Earth. Some younger officers refused assignments to the Sol system entirely. Chen's greatest triumph came during the Battle of Proxima Station, when a desperate hegemony fleet was pursuing the last human civilian convoy. Using captured alien communication technology, he convinced 3 different hegemony fleets that the others were human infiltrators, in disguise. The resulting friendly fire incident destroyed more alien ships than humanity had managed in the entire previous war. From his lonely vigil on a dead world, one human had become a force multiplier beyond anything the aliens could have imagined. Years passed. The galaxy settled into an uneasy peace, with human colonies establishing themselves beyond hegemony reach. Trade agreements were signed, Borders were drawn, and the Great War faded into history. But Earth remained quarantined, marked as a forbidden zone on every star chart. The hegemony told themselves it was a monument to their victory, a reminder of what happened to species that defied their order. But late at night, in the quiet moments between star cycles, their commanding officers would stare at Earth on their displays and wonder if he was still out there, still watching, still waiting. Chen had become something more than human in their collective consciousness. He had become the embodiment of humanity's most terrifying trait, their refusal to surrender, their ability to turn any situation into a weapon, their capacity to fight, even when logic demanded submission. The galaxy had learned that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their numbers. It was their willingness to sacrifice everything for an idea, and their uncanny ability to make that sacrifice count. Even now, decades later, when alien children misbehaved, their parents would whisper warnings about the human who still walked among the ruins of his world, watching the stars, remembering names. The galaxy had won its war against humanity, but it would never feel safe again.